being lazy, but also partially me doing all that is required for all of my grant work. Like, just in general, and lazy in the fact of like, well, if I live stream it, I can then download the video later, right? Like I don't have. Oh, hello. I've mostly been singing lately, which is why my voice sounds like trash. I've mostly been singing lately, which is why my voice sounds like trash. I've mostly been singing lately, which is why my voice sounds like trash. I've mostly been singing lately, which is why my voice sounds like trash. There we go. Do you hear her? Would you like this mic? Would you like to hold the mic? Or not? No. Okay.
I'm pretty loud, so I think I'll be fine. You can put it on here if you want.
Jace. I will do that. Introduce you.
Yeah.
From the shadows, I'm going to properly introduce you. Yeah, from the shadows, because you got this brilliant setup right here, okay? First of all, JRose is an amazing poet, author, and are we allowed to, like, say Grammy nominee hopeful?
I submitted my album for Grammy consideration.
Woo, woo, woo. So if you are part of the Academy...
I'm part of the Recording Academy,
yes. If you can be voted for, so please vote for JRose to get a Grammy, to bring it home for the poetry, the New York poetry community. That would be so fire.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
The poetry, the New York poetry community. That would be so fire.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
For the poetry, the New York poetry community. That would be so fire.
Thank you, I appreciate you. I'm gonna start off a little heavy, and then we'll lighten up the void. I'm gonna start with my newest piece that I recently finished. It is titled Bones, and it is dedicated to all the Black women that have lost their lives. All the Black women that have lost their lives. It is titled Bones, and it is dedicated to all the Black women that have lost their lives. There's skeletons in society's closet. Bones spill out every time the wardrobe doors open fire. Bones spill out of body cams. Bones spill out of boiling pots of water. Bones spill out in the form of tears. Bones spill out dressed in oversized lies because justice doesn't quite fit oppression, right? So they make alterations to the altercations that alter nations, and we're the ones who wear the weight of every casket on our shoulders, feeling heavier with every Black body that drops dead weight, crushes vocal cords into chokeholds, crushes spirits into fury, crushes judgment into jury. There's skeletons in society's closet from the bullets that rummage through it. Rebuke the weapon formed against us, but the devil still drew it, sending souls into outer dimensions. But this ain't Narnia. It's more like the lion bitch in the blue wardrobe. A wardrobe that wasn't tailored to fit Brianna. A wardrobe they used to cover up how bland it is to hang the truth up for the sake of accountability. A wardrobe worn like an invincibility cloak so shit doesn't get too messy. And no, I didn't mispronounce messy. I meant to say massy. Because bones spill out every time we say her name. Bones spill out by the pound like hashtags. How many more black women have to die till they finally feel like they've had enough? How many more white cops gotta skate till they finally feel like they slapped enough? Wrists that never meet cuffs while black women stay cuffed to fear, afraid to sleep, afraid to drive, afraid to call for help just to end up unalive, knocking on heaven's door, but no knock warrants the entry of shots that never rang the doorbell. No traffic violation should summon a sudden death. No call for salvation should be answered by demons. There's skeletons living in society's closet, but this shit ain't free, baby. It costs to live and it costs to die. Now, who the fuck is gonna pay for all these broken windows? Don't you know how expensive the transparency of glass is these days? But audacity, now that's free these days. And trigger happy seems to be the mood these days. So I guess you better get your feelings in check before you get checked by some cop who's supposed to check in, but would rather check you out. And not because he likes the way you're dressed in distress, or because he'd rather see your flesh stripped down to bare bones than to serve and protect their skeletons in society's closet. And bones spill out. Bones spill out. Bones spill out. Woo! Thank you. That's one of my newest pieces, so I appreciate the love for that.
Very, very descriptive. I just like the illusions you make without even mentioning your names.
Yeah, that was the intention. So like for a while, with that poem for a while, like I've been wanting to write like a socially driven piece, you know, something that was like something that would speak on what's going on right now. But there's so many things that's going on right now that it's like, I wasn't sure what to write about. You know, there's so many social issues that, you know, can be addressed through poetry, all of them, right? So, I think it was like maybe like a week or two after the Sonia Massey incident happened, and you know, like I'm the type of person that when stuff like this happens, I'm not rushing to see the video right away, because like it's already hard enough to digest the information just by hearing about it, right? But then to actually see the footage was very, you know,
and everywhere at that. It wasn't
right.
Even just like it might have came on the news that night, that one time.
Right.
It was like on everybody's timeline, on every platform.
Yeah, it was everywhere. So like I tried to avoid seeing the video, and then like a couple weeks later I finally saw the video. And it was just so like disturbing. Like I don't know what other, it was so disgusting. I was so like it was terrible. And I think that like that's kind of what started to I started thinking about like maybe I should write about this. And I work at Rikers once a week. I run programs with incarcerated women, and so like I was on my way to run a program, and I can't bring my phone in there, so I started like writing prompts, you know, while I was on my way to the building, and I wrote a prompt that was like skeletons in the closet, and then from there it just kind of developed to skeletons in society's closet. And then I started thinking, well, what are these skeletons? And the poem came through me in like 2 or 3 days. That was Wednesday. By like Friday I had the poem like maybe 90% done. And for the type of writer that I am, it takes me a while to finish a poem. Like a poem that's ready for the stage for me to perform, it takes me like 2 or 3 months sometimes longer. Sometimes I just leave it alone for a while.
Yeah.
and because I write something else, or I just don't write for a while. So like I'm not one of those people that writes every day. You know, which, you know, I admire people that do that, you know. I'm like, I don't know.
That commitment is hard.
For me it is.
I can do it I've done maybe like 7 challenges to completion.
Right.
Or out of like 20, where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write every day for a month.
Right.
Like just in the hectic mix of life, that was like, that's impossible.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might start with like maybe haikus, right? Maybe I could do like 30 days of haikus or something, like keep it simple, and then work my way to, you know, writing like a stanza or something. I don't know, but yeah, that poem really like came through me. Like I remember like as I was writing some of these lines, because I'm the type of writer that I write and I read it out loud. I edit out loud, as my good friend Leah V would say. And like I was getting like goosebumps when I was saying my own poem out loud. I remember one of the first times I read it on stage in front of people. Like I was like, all goosebumps, head to toe, like going through the poem. And I'm a very spiritual person, so like I just felt it, like it was like their spirits are just, you know, like, you know, happy that like you know, there's a voice there for them, you know, in that poem. So yeah, and I did a lot of research, you know, with the poem, because I wanted more names in it, but those 3 names were the ones that like I think stuck out to me the most. And reading like their stories, so there's a lot of stuff stitched into that poem about like what happened to them. There's a line that a lot of people don't catch if you don't really know what happened, like to Breonna Taylor, like when she was murdered. It was a no-knock warrant. That's how the police came into her apartment. So in the poem, I say knocking on heaven's door, but no knock warrants the entry of shots that never rang the doorbell. And so that's specific to what happened to her. You know, there's a part I say they used to cover up how bland it is to hang the truth up. That, you know, what happened to Sandra Bland. So yeah, that poem. Thank you for it. I haven't talked about that poem like this deep, like in front of people. Like, so thank you for that. I appreciate. I can go to another poem if that's cool with y'all.
Yes.
I'll do another newer poem as well.
New shit.
Newest shit. This piece is titled "Return to Sender." It's become very quickly a favorite of people. So if y'all like it, y'all watch it and y'all like it, let me know. You can follow me at My Crumbled Thoughts, by the way.
It's pinned right there.
All right, cool.
That's what I was typing.
Right. All right, cool. Appreciate it. All right, so this is Return to Sender. I've buried my body in the insatiable graveyards of men's tongues. Let them lick lies onto me like sealed love letters they'll never mail out. They've delivered omens of predestined ghostings with their lack of commitment, as if I'm only meant to spread my legs apart enough to be a part of their life, but never enough to be their life partner. And that part. The irony is, I wrote them in as potential, so my choices wouldn't feel so consequential, and now this accountability got me fucked up. Having to address the way I zip through holes in different area codes, trying to unlock something real, that shit was ludicrous. The way I let them count on my body to be added to the body count they've already lost count of, drowning me in numbers. But I'm the one who dove head first into their pool of problems as if I were the solution. My loneliness times their hunger for flesh could never square up to a future. Maybe I needed a beautiful mind to solve that equation. Instead, I rustled through crow's nest like there wasn't already voices in my head. I wish they had seen past having this carcass disguised as body, and I had seen past having their bodies disguised as sanctuary. All I ever wanted was safety, but all I ever chose was hazard. So much that I can't recognize the warning signs left at my doorstep until there's no ring notification, no relationshiping or handling with care. How the fuck did I get here? Dropped in a muted mailbox, crying in lowercase, hoping that my tears fall quiet enough to be mistaken for silent letters. I just want someone as dedicated to me as a postal worker is to their oath. Whether there's rain, hail, sleet, or snow, he'll deliver me from these junk mails of false hope, carry me over thresholds, out of this temporary sorting center, stamp me with forever so the cost of falling in love again won't reflect the inflation inflicting my heart. A certified male who will sign for me every time I walk through the door. Someone who sees me as more than just a stop on his route, more than just a notch on his belt. Someone who sees my outgoing anxiety from a mile away but knows how to lower that red flag and envelop me in his white flag of surrender. Accepting this whole package of me despite being labeled return to sender. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's been a fan favorite. You know, for a while I was in a space where I was writing a lot about like holding myself accountable for like letting people close enough to hurt me, right? Because it's like, although they also should be held accountable for their actions or, you know, lack thereof, I still need to hold myself accountable for like what I allowed, you know, allowing somebody to get that close to me to even have that type of effect on me. You know, I have played a part in that as well. So like I was in a space of kind of like trying to write myself through that. So where's my phone? What did I do? I was thinking of like reading. What did I do? Oh, my phone is over here. It's like blending in with the thing.
You blended in with the book?
No, it was like blended in with the stand.
Wow.
So let me see. I've been writing a lot more than I usually write, which is weird. I think that because after I released my album and published my book, it was like a purge of like my art that I've been holding on. The book has like 15 years worth of my writing.
Ooh.
So it has poetry in here that was written before I even got on the stage, which is very different than the poetry that once I got on the stage, I started writing different, you know? So, you know, I think especially once I released the book, that was really like the big release. And after that, it's just been like all these, I've written like 3 stages, but I don't write that fast. I told you I don't write, it takes me like 2-3 months, and in like 3 months, I've written 3 new poems. It's crazy.
Yo, that's what's up.
But sometimes, okay, so the moral of the story is, like, get that shit out, right? Like, what are you waiting for? Publish the book, release the album, do the thing. Because, like, then you're, like, wondering why you might be stuck creatively. And it's, like, because you have all this shit bottled up, and you gotta let it out. So this was, like, I let it all out. And Pieces of My Crumbled Thoughts is the name of both the album and the book have the same title. Because, I don't know, maybe I was being lazy. Maybe I just want to make it easy for people. Like, same thing. Pieces of My Crumbled Thoughts. And you can follow me on social media at My Crumbled Thoughts. So I think I never do this, so I'm just feeling in a special mood. You know, because Joy, I have to say, like, Joy, like, I've known you since, like, I have to say, like, day one. I've been hosting and curating events for 6 years nonstop. And you were one of the first people I featured when I started doing events.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think it was like the 5th or 6th one. It was like
yeah, it was so early in the
way up in the
game.
Bronx.
In the Bronx at South of France.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to South of France.
The food was good though.
Yeah, the food was good there.
Hello,
Welcome people, welcome. Grab a seat, get comfortable. I'm JRose. They're like, yo, let me get the bar for you. Know what? I want to drink too. Can I get some vino?
Yeah.
Some red wine when you get a chance. Serve the
Red
customer.
or white?
Red is good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do like a little Russian roulette with shit that's not even like fully written yet. I do enjoy sharing pieces like this in intimate crowds because I know I will see you again. So I hopefully get to see you again, but I see you often. So like, I like sharing it because you'll be able to see when I'm done with the poem. You'll see like what you see it in its raw seedling stage until it blossoms into a full poem. Oh yeah, see. So I'm gonna do a little like little Russian roulette type of thing. I'm just gonna like swipe my nail up and down, and you guys tell me to stop, and whatever poem is there. Oh, let me take a sip before we do that. Ooh, thank you. All right, ready? Go ahead. Somebody say stop. Was that a stop? Okay. Just like little bits and pieces. Wearing silence like lipstick will never look beautiful on you. There's something about concealing your voice that will never match the foundation of your ancestors. Silence is just 2 shades too wrong, so your palate seems to be running low on rights. But baby girl, your voice was made up to glow high on lights. And that's all I got.
I like that.
Thank you.
And you can even like, I feel like that will transition into something about living a fast life, or get along the lines of like just getting seduced by all the glamour and the light. And, like,
I can see it going there. I don't know where it's gonna go. It might go there. It might. Who knows? We'll see. To be continued. All right. Next, say stop. Let me know when you say stop. Stop. Ooh. Oh gosh. All right. We're gonna get a little sad. So we can blame the gentleman over here. I'm just kidding. All right. This piece right now is titled Stockholm Syndrome, and it's about my mom. Okay. My mother never taught me how to be a woman of color. Instead, she primed me white in delusional portraits of her mind, like a happy accident in a Bob Ross painting. Joy beams from her voice as she tells the story of my birth, how my skin was as pale as snow, eyes as white, as blue as the sky, and a head full of soft, blonde curls. This story was reference point, was thief of joy, was comparison of how Snow White was now looking more like Princess Jasmine, features of my Afro-Taino roots growing more evident, the evidence, nose too wide to fit through the white privilege doorway she wanted me to walk through, feeling the recognition of my facial structure would only be useful for unlocking phones and not opportunities, pinching my nose as if she could besculpt the image of God with her bare hands in ignorance, as if I were wet clay and she sculptor, as if my beauty were quartz and she vulture, picking away at my self-image one shaded remark at a time, insults roll off her tongue disguised as concern, goodbyes echo like, that dress makes you look square, and did you even brush your hair while you're getting fat and you're too skinny, bounce off the walls, her words be stone, my confidence be glass house. I guess destructive criticism is more constructive for building character and thickening skin anyway. And to think, I didn't know her native tongue could be so frostbitten. Judgment in an accent she wished she had hidden. It's no wonder her identity always gave me the cold shoulder. My mother never taught me how to accept the compliment. I always had to brace myself for the impact of her criticism. So now I regurgitate praise because I can't keep it for myself long enough to believe it. My mother would tell me to never write anything down because someone might read it, as if my life story should have been a secret. Just because she went through shit and thought she had to keep it, and now I write like my life depends on it, like my rights depend on it, like my nights depend on it, no loose or deep ends on it, just roots and split ends on it. I've heard countless stories of the tears she cried when she carried me in her womb, worried I'd inherit the tightness of my father's woolen hair, because there was nothing worse than having a baby con pelo malo. And the only way she knew how to America my hair was to relax the heritage tangled in my crown. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I love that. Ooh, baby. Relax the heritage tangled in my crown.
Right.
Gorgeous.
So, like, I think this is going to turn into, like, a series. Because it's, like, I feel like there's a part in this poem where, like, I could have just ended there. And there's so much to unpack with, like, the identity issue, the identity crisis that a lot of, like, I could specifically say, like, Puerto Ricans that come from the island, that come here, and there's this, like, need and this, like, want to, like, have to identify with white culture, right? And so there's this, like, identity issue, and, like, so there's a lot of that stuff I didn't understand it as a kid, but now as I'm older, raising young black children, like, I see some of the things that I'm not doing with my kids and my mom did with me, and I'm like, oh, she did that shit.
And then they get on you for not doing it.
Right, and I'm like, nah.
And you're like, chill. This
like, we don't do that here, okay? Right. We don't do that here, mom. Like, so, like, there's so much to unpack, and, like, I don't want this poem to be like a, like, I'm shitting on my mom type of poem, you know, because I really want to, the title is Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know if I mentioned the title, but yeah, that's the title. So it's like, it's almost like that Stockholm Syndrome, the, like, feeling empathy and feeling connected with the oppressor, right? So, like, I wanted to kind of end in a way where it's like, but this is, like, all she knew, right? This is, like, how she understood to survive in her time, right? Where I'm growing up in a very different time. And so part of this process with this poem is, like, breaking generational curses through, like, how I'm raising my children and the things that I'm doing different with my kids that my parents never did with me, you know? So
maybe,
yeah.
Maybe that's it. Like, maybe that's your, and I don't know if you even want the suggestion, but I feel like that's the way in, is to, like, the best compromise when doing something that's about your parents or your parents' effect on you, or even the contrast between who you are as a parent, who I am as a parent. Right. My experience as a child of that parent, because I'm sure that my child has things to say about me.
Oh yeah,
what
trust me, my kids always got some shit to say
about me.
I have an 18-year-old and a 9-year-old, so I hear it.
Maybe it just, like, it be about the lessons that you learn, the ways that you not only, like, the things that you taught yourself, but also the things that now you get to pass on to your children because your mother showed you what not to do or some shit.
Right, no, true.
You know?
Yeah, that's definitely where I want to go.
I feel like in dealing with my mom sometimes, I know that I don't share my work with her because then it becomes a thing. Right. Where it's like, oh, how do you think this makes me look? How do you think this makes me feel?
I know.
But my work isn't about how you look and feel. My work's about how I feel.
Right.
From my experience.
This is my perspective, my vantage point.
But it's really hard to, like, I think it's always hard in someone else's life. It's always really hard to, like, you're always gonna
hear about yourself.
Like,
what the thing about children is that, like, you know, what a lot of, I guess, her older generation overlooked is that, like, children see the good and the ugly, the beautiful and the ugly parts of you as a parent. And, like, back then, they weren't aware of that shit. You know what I mean? Where, like, I know my kids see, like, back then, parents really tried to hide a lot of the ugly shit all the time, act like the ugly shit wasn't really happening. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where I'm trying to go with this poem. And it's hard because this poem, like, this is why it's taking me so long to finish this poem, because sometimes, like, I get emotional writing it. Like, I'll be like, damn, like, that's fucked up. Like, why she had me feeling a type of way about, like, my hair, you know? And that's where when I get to the hair part, that's when I'm like, yo, this is a whole nother poem, because the whole hair journey is crazy. So, yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Series.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna turn it into a series. I'll read a poem from my book if y'all cool with that.
Quick.
And then I'll just do a poem from the album. I have a book and an album, both titled Pieces of My Crumbled Thoughts. I just submitted the album for Grammy consideration, so hopefully I'll be a nominee. Let's see. I don't know what poem to do in my book. How about somebody ask me a question about either my poetry, my artistry, my journey, and I will answer it with a poem.
Oh. What's your favorite poem?
What's my favorite poem? That's probably the worst question to ask me. Okay. My God. What is my favorite poem?
Today.
I like
I
that.
meant this question. What's your favorite poem today?
What is my
I feel
favorite?
like, yeah, our feelings change
Alright.
throughout days.
I like that. I will go with that. What's my favorite? Okay. My favorite poem today is a poem that's actually on the album as well and in the book. All the album poems are in the book.
Ooh.
So I will not read it from my book. I will just say it from my head. Damn, I was gonna think of playing with an instrumental down. I'll do acapella. This is a poem titled Addicted, and it's about being addicted to a person. I never knew addiction until I met you. Yet this slight obsession has me second guessing if you're a blessing or just another lesson. Have I finally manifested, or are my history books repeating my past as my present? They say timing is everything. Yet time never seems to exist when we make time to coexist. So time feels infinite with every kiss placed on my lips. More than enough seconds to come back for seconds. Minutes turn into hours. Conversations are endless. I never knew addiction until I met you. I mean, I never wanted something so good, so bad. Gambling with my heart, because the biggest risk is the risk not taken. And all bets were off the moment your shot was taken. Like filet mignon on the Empire State, the stakes were raised, and you bet on yourself. Won me over, but this ain't no race. There's no tracks, just track marks of beauty freckled across your face. See, I'm not afraid. Tell a man he is beautiful. Body just the right time. Chin resting above my head, just the right height. Smiles that always seem to appear when I step into the room. As if you've just seen a shooting star. No one has ever looked at me with such affinity, and when you wink at me, it feels like I'm the one in Trinity. I never knew addiction until I met you. From the first smile to the first kiss to the first time I let you hit. Who knew addiction would feel like bliss without the ignorance? But here I am. Popping pills prescribed by your praises, written on our most intimate pages. I'm not talking about the ones penned in the nude while the moonlight dances on our grins. I mean the ones shared over held-back tears and the confessions of our sins, making it safe to deposit your insecurities into my skin. I absorb you like litmus. And although there's some acidity in your past, you're still balanced in divinity from infinity like a blast off the wagon. I thought I was finished with this fixation for a worthy king, but you are the type of addiction that brings a goddess to her knees to worship thee so willingly. You're like kryptonite, but it's giving strength like the chopping block, but it's giving length like needles in my veins, piercing through layers of scars just to pump me full of affirmations, reassurance, and affection. How is it possible to be my vice and my recovery at the same damn time? Because 12 hits of you feels like 12 steps towards truth, so it's no surprise I move mountains to step closer to you. Being addicted to you is like being addicted to me. Twin flames mirrored by the sun, sealing the destiny of whatever's meant to be. The future's unknown, so let's turn the present to a home, open palms full of past traumas, and just let them go. Admitting that I'm powerless is the first step. I never knew addiction until I met you, but here I am. Hi, I'm JRose, and I'm an addict. Thank you. So that poem, I actually went to a friend of mine who was celebrating their 1 year anniversary of being sober. And I went to the celebration, to the event, the meeting. And I was really moved by a lot of the people's testimonies of like their battles and their journeys with addiction of drugs and alcohol and all the other stuff. So I was really moved. It was like, I was like, wow, this is really powerful shit right here. So I wanted to write a poem about addiction, but I didn't want it to be like cheesy or like appropriating like this addict kind of personality. I don't know, it was just weird. I didn't want to write about it like in that perspective. So I thought about like, well, what are other things that people are addicted to, right? Aside from like drugs and alcohol, well, people are addicted to gambling, sugar, social media, you know, and people. And I was like, I could write about that. Definitely been addicted to a person here and there. So that's where that poem came from. I'll share one of the poems with you guys. I'm trying to think if it's something new or I talk shit.
No, something from the book.
Something spicy. Something from the book. All right, I'll do something.
Talk your shit.
I'll do something from the book where I talk my shit. How about that?
I love it.
This is titled "Don't Do This." This is on the album and in the book. It was inspired by a really amazing poet named Miss Yankee from the UK. She performed her "Don't Do This" poem on one of my virtual platforms, and I loved it. I loved the concept. I reached out to her. It was like, yo, I need to write a "Don't Do This" myself. She was like, yes, I can't wait to read it. So, you know, shout out to her for like the inspiration for this poem. It's titled "Don't Do This," and I was going to say something about it, but I forgot what I was going to say, so fuck it. It's a poem about boundaries, right? You know how you write a to-do list to kind of get your shit together? This is a poem about like getting my boundaries together. All right. Don't allow yourself to be loved in the shadows. You deserve to be praised through echoes of light. You are not a secret garden. Let your flowers bloom loudly and as vibrant as your spirit. Don't clip your wings to tether yourself to featherless pheasants. Soar so high that anyone that wants to be close to you has to raise their standards just to be within your reach. Don't pour into cups riddled with unsealed holes. You'll only end up empty, unable to pour into your own. Don't hold your tongue. Your lips were not made to be levees. There are rivers that overflow with wisdom, medicine, and magic. Don't build a home in someone else's darkness. Just because you were birthed by sun and raised by moon doesn't mean you should eclipse your light to be put in rotation. Your complexities are as intricate as a solar system. Let these men orbit around you like unsettling satellites until you meet your comet of commitment. Don't swipe right. Get the fuck off these apps. They're not looking for a wife. Don't settle for mid-dick or men that can't eat pussy. You deserve experiences of ecstasy that exhilarate you endlessly. But also don't confuse good day for a future. Take the mask off that final fantasy and face the facts that even fools can fabricate facades that resemble forever. You are worthy of taking a seat at the love table without reservations, and after dessert you deserve a big tip without hesitation, because there's something so beautiful about reciprocation. Don't shrink yourself like Alice, because even the right bite of that mushroom can make shit go left. Don't act like you belittle, because a man belittled you in your soft girl era. You've pitched enough thick skin for far too long. These extra innings are for you to grand slam, home run your way into the healthiest, most loving home base you could ever imagine. Don't let these players make short stops between your legs. You are far more than a filler between their past and their future. You are beyond the now and the later, like past lives and soul ties, switching games like you're Deion Sanders coming off the sidelines. You are a World Series served in a Super Bowl. A record-breaking 90-yard catch most men have fumbled. Don't let them intercept and touchdown your playing fields. Keep them humbled. Don't picture them in your end zone just to be tackled into their friend zone, because that's a false start. Don't give them 4 chances to put you down first. There's no safety in that. Make change like you just gave them a quarterback. Don't let a man get too comfortable with having you. Giving Southern comfort does not make you a comfort zone, but do know you're a safe space for the right man to grow. Plans and accountability and communication that seeds the soul. Don't share a bed with someone who sleeps peacefully knowing your pillows are soaking in tears. You've been haunted enough times to recognize ghosts of neglect. Don't let these pussy pirates wave you off like a one-time courtesy. Your oceans are deep enough to drown men in happiness, and anyone blessed enough to swim with you will protect your sacred waters. And finally, don't you ever forget, you are queen, lover, mother, daughter, sister, friend, healer, nurturer, therapist, chef, teacher, home, peace, and most importantly, a divine goddess in the flesh. And anyone that claims to love you will never allow you to feel like anything less. Thank you. I was losing it. The poem was like, yo, I'm out. I'm like, yo, where you going? You're not done here. You got like a couple more words. Like, what are you doing? Thank you. That's what happens. Anybody here performs, I don't know if this happens to you, it's weird. This shit happens to me all the time, especially if I'm doing a poem that I've recited a million times. I'll have like this split brain moment where like I'm in autopilot, the poem is coming out of my mouth, but my mind is like, did I lock the car door? Like, I think I'm thirsty, like damn. You know, like I think I'm kind of hungry, I shouldn't have eaten. You know, like my brain is just somewhere else, and then it's like, then my mouth is like, hello, we got a poem, come back. We need the words, you gotta give us the words. Okay, truth is, that's the life of an artist. That's the life of a performing artist. Thank you so much, Joy. I appreciate this opportunity to come and share. I really do like intimate audiences like this, because like I could see if you're paying attention to me or not. Like I could be like, what are you doing? Why are you on your phone? I sit right next to them, like say my poem next to people. But no, I really just appreciate the intentional listening. If you liked what you heard, I encourage you to follow me on social media at My Crumbled Thoughts. I have books. I have flyers for an event. I'm also a host and a curator. So I have an annual event called Legends. It's at Jamaica Performance Arts Center. It's like a red carpet poetry event. I'm gonna have some Grammy-nominated artists that's gonna be performing. The host is a Grammy-nominated poet as well. Her name is Shiva. And Sean Williams, Jasmine Mans, Black Chakra, Ebony Stewart. It's like so many of them. There's like a lineup of 9 people. They're coming from all different cities and from New York. So I have flyers for that event. Please, I would love to see y'all there. Like the tickets include food and open bar. And it's at, like I said, Jamaica Performance Arts Center. It's a really big event, and it's so big I can only do it once a year because it's stressful as fuck to do something like this. So yeah, and I have an album. It's also titled Pieces of My Crumbled Thoughts. It's streaming on all platforms. And again, if you know any Grammy voting members, please connect me with them so they can listen to my album and consider voting for my shit. Thank you.